Insane, down, down, going in flames. Slam down into your vein. Main line straight to your brain. Well, put your quarter in it, make it, let the show begin. Uncoordinated while your brain is
All
like
right, welcome to Whine and Cheese number 26. Which kind of recovering from our interview last week with the bag of donuts minus Bobby. I had a great time. It was really good. Those guys are funny. I was glad to have him in here. The audience is pretty much quadrupled since the first 5 or 6 of these that I did, and I appreciate everybody coming on. Go to the Facebook page, Whine and Cheese. Go to the YouTube page. Subscribe to the YouTube page. Like the Facebook page. Helps me get it out there in your face quicker and better, and help grow the team over here. Tonight, sitting down with a good buddy of mine. Man, I started doing research on you as a person that I wouldn't know, and there's just too much to even really try to wrap my head around. I got my good buddy Jack Miele with me tonight. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I was supposed to travel this week for work, and then it got canceled, so I had put off taking notes. When it's somebody that I really want to make sure we do a good job with, I spent 3 minutes writing notes for the donuts. For you, like last night, you go on the internet and there's, the Wikipedia, and you don't know what's true about that and what's not, and I know what I know about you, and I know stuff from other friends, and man, you got your hands on a lot of stuff.
I don't own a vacuum cleaner company.
Which would be sweet, dude. Like, how great would it be if Jack just showed up at your house ready to do his presentation?
Well, there's like a famous vacuum cleaner company called Miele Vacuums.
Oh, are you
and
serious?
Yeah, they're huge, inexpensive. It's sort of like Dyson, and but they're like German made. And even though I'm not German, but they're German made vacuum cleaners, and I get a lot of people asking me if that's like my family dynasty or something. Yeah. And it's like, I don't sell vacuum cleaners.
I've got fuck you money from the vacuum.
From the vacuum lord. I'm the vacuum lord.
You want to know what? I'll go ahead and let my crowd, my fans know something. I sold vacuum cleaners for a week one time.
How'd that work out?
You want to know what's fucked up? I sold one on the first call I ever went on. It was these like Spanish people, but they spoke English.
You had to show up to their house and everything?
Yeah, and that's the way it worked. Like, they had a little team that would do like cold calls, telemarketing, and they would set up appointments. And the way it worked was, hey, if you let us come in there for an hour after work one day, we'll give you this whatever. It was I forget what it was. It was like you had a choice of like a trip or whatever. And so I was like, and you were guaranteed money. It was like $400 a week. You were guaranteed, right? No matter what you did. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I was probably 21, 22.
It's a lot of money back then.
Right? Like right after college.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the fuck I want to do. And I'm like, I see this in the newspaper. This is back when you like look for a job in the newspaper, right? Kind of dating myself. So I go in there, I take the little training, and dude, they had a good spiel for you to do. Because the closer was when you'd do everything in the living room, and then you'd say, if they had kids, can I go in your kid's bedroom, right? And let's go vacuum his mattress.
Creepy.
Oh, yeah, right? So that's how I felt. So the first one, I'm like doing good, and I'm like, oh, this is easy. I'm sitting here with some people bullshitting. Go in there, and you do the old suck the pillow thing, and you show them, here's what your kid's sleeping on. And it's like dust mites and all of this shit. And they were like, where can I sign? It was a fucking $2,500 vacuum.
No wonder why you needed a presentation. I think I would have a heart attack if I spent $2,500 on a vacuum.
I did a dance. We like set the podcast up. And
that's a microphone. That's a guitar.
Yeah. That brings up an interesting subject. Do you think you've got, I know you own a lot of gear. Like I've
been collecting for a lot of years.
For for any of the people who don't, most of the people that are going to listen to this pretty much know who you are. If not, you're just an established musician, and I think you're kind of more known on the production side. Or is that where your biggest strengths are?
Known to whom?
Just the general public. Just
I guess
your fans,
yeah,
people that follow you.
I guess people who follow me. There are two sets of people that follow me. There are the people who are the the musician Molly Ringwald fans and Morning Life fans or whoever, and then there's the people that follow my production career with other people.
And you think that's two different?
Well, I mean, I'm sure that there's cross pollination, but those are the two sort of facets of my life, or those two compartmentalizations of my life. Is
Do you have a problem passing up a piece of gear that you want? Like if it's like, okay, a piece of gear, a mix, whatever, a microphone, or if it's for sale, do you have a problem when you pass something up?
I only have a problem passing it up if I know it's a good deal. Are, like if I see something and the problem is that those deals are ubiquitous. They're just everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, so basically I find these deals. Ruby over at the Music Shed always makes fun of me because she's like, I don't know how you find all these deals. Like, I'm just gonna, whenever we need to buy a new piece of gear, I'm just gonna put it in your hands because you end up finding shit. But I somehow am able to find these fantastic deals on these pieces of gear, and if I have to pass it up, or if I miss out on an auction, or if I, whatever, I don't have the money at the time, then it bums me out. But like I said, there's always another deal down the road.
Is there like one piece that's like the grail? Like what's the holy grail of recording pieces and parts?
For my personal collection?
Yeah.
As far as recording gear, I have a, oh, geez. And like I said, this is sort of geek talk, but I'm
okay with that.
I have a pair of Sony C37 microphones probably from the 60s. I have an original AKG C12A, and I have also as far as microphones, I have an original RCA 44, which is like the big, like I should bring it in one time for you to use for one of your broadcasts. It's like one of the big, Frank Sinatra mics.
It would pick up the mice in the rafters.
Actually, it was designed for radio.
Oh, no shit.
So it's an old radio mic.
Does the old shit sound better than the new stuff?
Better is a subjective word, but
What do you think?
I mean, it depends on the application. I think that there are certain things. It's all about what's appropriate. If you're trying to record the next Justin Timberlake album, then an RCA 44 might not be the best choice for a vocal mic. I mean, if you want something to sound throwback like Amy Winehouse, I think she actually did. If I remember right, I saw the documentary that recently came out and won the Oscar or whatever. I think she actually used an RCA 77 to record her vocal tracks for that. Which is the one that looks like a Tylenol. It's like the one that looks like a pill.
Yeah. I just like the way they look.
Right. I think she used that microphone. I have one of those too.
Nice. Well, do you get?
It's just like color. It's like really expensive colors on a paint palette. Just because you have the most expensive shade of orange that they ever created, that was only made in 1960, doesn't mean it's appropriate for this painting of the ocean.
Yeah. No, I get it. So you bring up this jumped into my head. I had not taken a note on it, but you brought up Oscar. I went on your website and looked at it, and in your bio it says that you've won a bunch of awards. The one that everybody will know is Grammy and Emmy. So you've won a Grammy and an Emmy before?
Yes, I worked on two. I worked on Zach Brown's Uncaged record.
You heard about what happened to him, huh?
Actually, I guess I didn't.
Wait,
I don't know what to talk
did y'all hear? Are you talking about Zach Brown from Zach Brown Band?
Well, I mean, I worked on Zach Brown Band's record, Uncaged. It won Best Country
He
album.
got caught in a hotel room the other day with a partner of his and two strippers and like the biggest bag of cocaine you've ever seen in your life. But no, here's what's awesome, and I'm sorry for an ADD moment because I just read this the other day. It turns out the scandal is that the cops knew who he was, arrested the strippers, and let him go and took pictures with him, and he signed autographs. And they just let him go on to the next tour stop.
Oh,
dude,
God.
Being a rock star is the shit, man.
Shit, man. Vince Neil, he killed somebody.
Yeah, right?
and barely did jail time.
But so getting back to what we're talking about, is there an actual statue? Do you get a statue?
No, the band gets the statue.
Oh, fuck.
And also, I mean, you have to, and I think that I guess the producer gets one and the band gets one. But like, I don't think the engineers get one. I mean, I also, I worked on that record in overdub capacity.
Yeah.
Meaning like I think I worked on it for 2 days. It was just one of those great opportunities that ended up turning into something bigger than what I thought it was going to be.
Is that a goal of yours to win a Grammy?
To get the statue?
Well, no,
sure. I mean, because I have a plaque from the Grammy Society on my wall at my house. Have it on my wall. I actually have 3 of them because I got nominated twice and then won once. I got nominated for Sealer Green's record and for Steve Riley and the Mamu Playboys record.
I think I would carry it around with me. I mean,
it's just a little plaque. I mean, it's and look, I'm not downplaying it because it's totally cool, and like when I won a telly, I actually got the statue.
Yeah.
Where's
that?
That's at my house too, and it's about the size of an Emmy. It's like 6 pounds or something. It's heavy.
Do you? When you're working with somebody, because, I mean, I follow you. I've followed you since pretty much I knew who you were. More on the production side. I know you're in original bands and with the Mollies, but you get some pretty amazing people coming through your studio.
I've been very, very fortunate.
I saw a picture where I don't know if it was both of them, but it was Hall and Oates.
I did John Oates' solo record. I did once again. I didn't do every song on it, but I did. I don't know. I think I recorded 3 or 4 songs, and then he liked the way that I worked so well that he actually sent me 2 or 3 other songs on the record to mix. So
did he? And which one was it?
It was the album is called A Good Road to Follow.
No, I mean the guy. Was it Hall or Oates?
Oh, it was Oates.
Oates.
Yeah, John Oates.
Did he talk to you about deers and Lyme disease at all?
That's Daryl Hall.
Okay. So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Daryl is very openly
he hates deer.
Been diagnosed with Lyme disease. I mean, also lives out in the country.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know that that's something that Daryl lives with. John, as far as I know, does not have Lyme disease.
Or he's okay with deer.
Yeah, I think he's okay with deer. I don't even like deer.
What do you don't like? What is your problem with deer? Like when
they're just
on a daily basis,
rats.
Forest rats.
they're just like out. And I don't know. To me, white-tailed deer actually cause more car accidents than any other animal. Like I think it's a real statistic. They cause more car deaths than any other operator error.
Hey man, maybe you and I should get together on that. You know what I mean? Let's really start a cause and get rid of these motherfuckers. I mean, if they're really
they pretty much, I'm usually pretty pacifist, but like deers are
fucking deer.
Yeah, they're overrun. They're overrun.
Do you get nervous when you know you're going to have somebody of that stature coming through the studio?
I really don't. My wife calls it producer mode. Like I actually really do sort of switch where it's all business, and I don't cower down to people. I treat them the way that I would expect to be treated, professionally, with courtesy, and I forge relationships with these people.
Who's the most famous person, or who was the person that came through that you were like, this is it? Like, this is the biggest dude that I've ever worked with. Like, he was on my bucket list and he came through.
It's so funny because the person that I felt like that about, that I was sort of jumping up and down about, but isn't the most famous person I've worked with, was Steve Vai.
Oh, yeah. Wow, you did that.
Yeah, I actually did. I worked on his newest record. It's not even out yet, but I worked on his newest record.
Okay.
And it was just a fluke. They needed to do it in New Orleans, but he has like his own dude, his own guy. Steve owns like he actually owns, I think, 2 studios, and he has his own guy. Guy's name is Greg. I can't remember Greg's last name, but I had to coordinate with him via email, like sending him tracks and stuff like that. But he has his own guy who's like very prominent in the engineer producer world. Like you always see like commercials about gear like in magazines with his face and everything, and so he's already got a guy. He didn't need me. It happened to be that needed stuff done in New Orleans, and I was the guy they sought out.
Do you think that style of recording is helping or hurting music?
Style of recording? What do you mean?
As far as Billy's in California,
you're talking
and he's
about
going to
like
lay down some
piecemealing
drums.
It together?
Yeah, where nobody's ever in the room together, man.
It definitely makes a different type of recording. whether once again,
It can't be better. It
better
can't be
is
better.
such a subjective thing. Like some people like music today and hate old records. I mean,
I don't know those people.
well, they're probably kids. They're probably kids that think that, and I don't honestly know why the industry caters so much to kids, because kids don't buy records; they listen to Spotify. As a matter of fact, the devaluation of music in itself is what's causing the whole downturn in the industry, because music has become intrinsically worthless in the eyes of all children and people who are in, that demographic of 25 and under.
Whose fault is that?
I mean,
Is it the musicians
it's a culmination of a bunch of events. I mean, if you really want to blame somebody, blame, Sean whatever from Napster, or blame Steve Jobs for inventing the iPod. Now all of a sudden people can share. Blame the guy who invented the MP3 algorithm. I mean, I have no idea whose fault it really is, but it's just it's a culmination of events. The MP3 codec, which is it stands for codec means compression decompression. It's
something we'll never remember?
It's abbreviation, but basically there are different codecs.
Yeah.
And the MP3 codec was the first time that a song could be emailed over an internet, over a modem, without. What's funny is that what the MP3 does is it actually pulls out the frequencies that the human ear can't hear very well. So what it does is
all the good shit.
well, yeah, like a lot of the high end. That's where you can really hear MP3's difference is in the high end. Cymbals sound weird, and so do the air on top of somebody's voice, and those kind of things. Acoustic guitar sounds sort of strange with an MP3 a lot of times.
So in a way, it's made it amazing, because
it's an amazing piece. It's an amazing accomplishment.
You can collaborate with people all over the world, and
well, I was saying also the MP3 codec. That's an amazing accomplishment. I mean, a waveform, an uncompressed waveform is probably of a 3-minute song is probably 35 or 40 megabytes. Somebody took it and made it, a 100th of the size and made it 3 megabytes.
Yeah.
And there are people. Most people, I would say, 90% of the public can't hear the difference anyway.
Yeah.
Because they don't have those trained ears.
I'll tell you this. I actually sat down and listened to a radio show one time. It was on Howard Stern's channel. That's how I know about like musicians and stuff. The guy from Hall & Oates or Hall or whoever wants done like that's where I learned about the deer thing, because he was on there and he was fuck a deer.
It was Daryl Hall. I actually heard that episode.
Yeah. And I listened to a show that somebody did. It was like a one-off where they took a vinyl record and played it, and then they played the MP3 version. And man, there's a lot of shit in the record version that you don't hear in the MP3 version. There was like instruments that I didn't hear, like little guitars in the background.
There's
and
a
stuff.
lot of things that disappears, and one of those things that disappears from the conversion is the depth. There's a lot of the three-dimensional depth of a track will start to dissipate as you kick down that sample rate, that bit rate. There's just something to listening to, an analog wave as opposed to listening to MP3, which is just basically organized static. It's just static.
Okay, you did a couple of podcasts in the last couple of weeks. You did. You went on the PPV, Popcorn, Piss, and Vinegar, which I've talked about on this show before. I love the dudes over there. And then you also did another one called Sonic Garage, which I had never heard of until I saw you post it, and I listened to almost the whole thing. You're kind of there's a little like Rain Man-ish about you when it comes to like all this knowledge. I mean, you could just
I'm an excellent driver.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You drive like a motherfucker when in the music, right? When did you? Has this been something like since you were a kid that you were like, this is the only thing I know it? I'm in music.
I didn't even know. I didn't know anything about recording. I didn't know anything about recording probably until I was. And like I said, I didn't record my first piece of recording anything until I was probably. Jeez, let me try and think. Probably till I was 25. I didn't know anything about recording. I actually would like to say this because we're on the air. I owe a very great deal to a few people. My amount of knowledge that I've culminated over the years started with the help of a few key people. One being George Ortolano, who's sitting behind us.
Yeah.
I owe him a lot because I learned so much from him working with him. I learned so much from Bruce Burrell, the mastering engineer, and so much from Dave Rosser, who was on this show, as well as Mike Napolitano. And just watching, and I hope I'm not forgetting anybody, but just watching those people and asking questions. And I learned a lot of, I learned a lot from Kurt Koss too, but mostly about video. But he's another one who just the phone constantly blowing up. How do you do this? What's this? John Byer, I owe tons to him too. What do I do? How do you do this?
It's amazing having those people.
And it is. And those guys were just, absolutely instrumental. But the one thing about me is that my brain's like a sponge. So once I learn something, it's there.
And then you stick it under the sink.
And then I stick it under the sink and I use it when I need it. But the one thing is that I'm also a little obsessive too, in the sense that I have to know everything about what I'm doing.
Okay, so are you a control freak?
No, because I'm not.
I think you are.
I'm not.
And the only reason I say that is because we can smell ourselves a mile away.
I mean, because
I'm one of them.
What I am is I don't like to accept. I'm not afraid of failure at all. I think that the sooner you accept failure as a part of success, the sooner you'll succeed. But I really do feel like I don't like to settle. I don't like to settle for something that I think is subpar. If you do the best you can, then you just try to get up and do the best you can the next time and hope that your next best is better than your previous. But, I'm sure that some of the guys in my band might disagree with the fact that I'm not a control freak, but I just want what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And I live by the mantra, if you want something fucking done, you got to do it yourself.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean, believe me, I wish that I didn't have to,
touch every single piece of it.
Right. But I also wish that it would be done to the level, like whenever I work with an engineer or another, like whenever I produce a band that's a young band, my thing is, if you better be able to play your part better or as good as I can, because if you can't, I'm gonna play it for you.
So also on the Sonic Garage podcast you talked about a session you had where some guy didn't show up, right? Mm-hmm. There was a guitar player who didn't show up. And whoever the artist was like, well, what the fuck are we going to do? And you were like, well, we're going to record this, and I'm going to play the shit out of this. Tell me that you didn't really get fucking excited that guitar player didn't show up.
I didn't. Actually, I didn't get
What
excited.
do you mean?
I didn't get excited they didn't show up because it's not.
I don't believe you.
I don't care if you believe me
because
or not.
I've been in those situations
I don't
before.
need to prove myself, Cheese. The thing is that there's a job to be done. There's a job.
Yeah, but you were like, it didn't, I don't know, it didn't give you a little bit of satisfaction to be able to save the day?
It gave me satisfaction that Benny was extremely happy. It gave me satisfaction that we made a great track and it came out and it's released now. It ended up being a Christmas track. But it, there's a job to be done. And I can't put everybody else in the room on hold, and we're wasting tons of money. Because some guy can't get out of bed. So believe me, I didn't necessarily, and at that point, me jumping on guitar, he wanted it a very specific way. Yeah. He actually said, I want you to play exactly this. And he played it on his bass, what he wanted me to play. And so, actually, I was hoping that I was going to play it as good as he wanted me to, because this dude's a legend, and he knows what's good and what's not good. And I tried and played it the best I could, and he loved it.
And the reason I asked that is because I was listening to you talk about it, and I've been in those situations before on an athletic side, right, where you're just supposed to be there for whatever, and somebody doesn't show. And I sit there in those situations and I'm like, I hope somebody doesn't show up, because I'm putting me in, coach. I'm ready to play, and I want to show everybody that who's around
but
here.
You'll have your moment, and I'm sure that I will have mine. There's tons of opportunity. There's opportunity grows on trees. You just have to be ready when that opportunity happens, and that is what I was ready when the opportunity presented itself. But I'm not praying for some dude to break his legs so I can go in.
Trust me, I know you weren't like hoping the guitar player was a heroin addict and he wasn't going to show up. But when the time comes, it's like, I think you're the type of person that I am that's like, I relish that opportunity, right? Like, there's no hesitation in that moment at all.
I just try to be as mentally prepared and physically prepared in an ability sense to do what I have to do. That's why I still practice guitar all the time. I still practice bass. I actually have tons of basses and pull bass out and play bass. And a lot of people hire me to play bass on their record, and
because I took some notes about that. I think I've seen you sing, play guitar, play bass, drums, which I came over to your house one night and you were playing. I didn't know you were fucking a killer. Like, you're a killer drummer.
I don't know about killer, but I can hold my own,
Do you think that you were born to do any of this? We shared a very good friend in our buddy David Philistry. That guy was born to have a guitar hang around his neck. He was like chiseled out of stone to play guitar. Do you think you were born to do this, or do you just outwork everybody?
I feel like, to be honest with you, I actually, if anybody said what instrument were you born to play, I would probably have to say drums, because it's actually that's what I started on. It's my favorite instrument. I just am not as good at it as I am at guitar. And it's just, I tell people that you don't choose your instrument, it chooses you. I was in bands for years and years as a drummer for half.
No shit.
Oh yeah, half my high school years until the time I was.
Till you met Woody?
Actually, he wasn't the first drummer. Mike Spalt was the first drummer in my first band. Woody was the second drummer. Actually, Woody was the third drummer. But anyway, we should talk about Woody's audition.
Hey, look, let's get into it right.
That's a great example. All right, and I know that I'm getting a little sidetracked here. But
do it.
That's a great example.
They should call this so sidetracked.
I'm fucking 15 years old. I can barely play my instrument, but I have such determination that I and my band are holding auditions, quotes in the air, auditions, and I had 2 or 3 drummers show up for these auditions to be in a band that was terrible, but it didn't matter because we were so determined that. But that's how I've rolled that whole, And Woody was the guy that won the audition.
Was he as good as he is now? Then
no, he wasn't.
Really?
And
he sucked. He sucked back then.
No, he didn't suck. He was shitty. I think he didn't. You've been in a band, Woody, long enough to know that
he's fucking amazing.
One thing that he doesn't do is play scared.
Oh yeah,
and
balls out.
Back then, I think he played scared. I think that it was like he didn't hit the drums hard. He didn't. He came in. He had the whole song. I think the song was "Epic" by Faith No More. We made him learn, and he came in with it charted out on a notebook, like in actual music notes, like hash, and
that does not sound like the Woody I know.
And he laid the notebook down on his bass drum, and when he started to play, we're a loud raucous rock band. Nothing's changed. I still turn up the 10, but he basically was just barely playing. I'm like, hit the drums, so because I was a drummer, so I was like bam bam on the drums. I hit hard but he, Woody's he's one of the best out there.
Where on the like, just people that you've actually been in a room with playing drums, where's he rank for you?
I mean, been in the room with people playing drums. I mean, I don't like rank how, like on a scale of 1 to 10, or what?
Who's the best? Like, is he where does he rank as far as like, you don't have to be specific.
I mean,
like,
I think
all the drummers you've ever been around, ever played with, where's he at?
Here's the thing. There are certain people that do a certain thing really well.
Yeah.
Really well.
Yeah.
If I was going to do a jazz session, Woody wouldn't be my first phone call.
Yeah.
And he knows that. But if I need somebody who is going to play like Dave Grohl, he's the first phone call.
Yeah.
Even over some other drummers who have a lot of prestige in the city.
That's kind of what I meant. You know, like
he specializes in such a certain thing that sort of, like I said, Foo Fighters slash, you know, I wouldn't compare him to I would compare him to like the hard hitters. Like everybody says Bonham, but he reminds me of something that's more modern than that, you know?
Yeah.
Like I said, Dave Grohl's the best example. Even Taylor Hawkins is another good example. Although, to be honest, I think that when he wants to, Darren plays a lot like Taylor Hawkins. You know,
From the Mollies.
yeah,
Darren, yeah.
Darren's a monster too. You
No,
know?
he is amazing, and we brought up.
But they're two totally different things.
Yeah.
They just, even the approach is totally different.
And don't worry, Jack. A lot of the people that I have in here are musicians, and I'm not a musician, so I come from this world of sports where it's always ranking and who's the best, and so I always ask all the musicians, anybody who thinks like that, and most of y'all don't. I mean, I guess
It's sort of the same thing in the sense of like, okay, this guy is a pitcher, like there's baseball players and then there are positions.
Yeah.
And each one of those people plays the shit out of that position.
Yeah.
So there are some people who can play multiple positions really well, just like there are certain drummers who can play a variety of styles with some real fire and,
Speaking of
and some real convincibility,
Man, when you said multiple positions, I just thought about this chick I'm dating. Hey yo, singles great, Jack. Just to let you know, I know you were there for a while, man.
We'll
But
be here all week.
congrats. I like to throw a little zinger in there every now and then. We brought up Woody and we brought up David, so we might as well talk about The Morning Life. That is your original band, The Morning Life. Really, man, when I was sitting down thinking about it last night about what to talk about The Morning Life, and this one thing kept popping in my head is that y'all just
You mean you're not going to shit on it to my face?
well, on the record, I haven't heard it yet. Well, I did actually. I tell you what, Bobby did let me hear a couple of just random things that y'all had sent out, and man, one of them I can't remember the name of it, but I was there around David the night that he wrote it and recorded it, and it fucking sounded great. Kind of made me cry a little bit, to be honest with you. And that's what I wanted to ask you. You basically just finished a record, right? And we were kind of I'm in the same situation you are, but I have been for a year now. What's it like trying to finish a record with a dude that's not there anymore?
Well, not to be discourteous to David's, memory, but, what would be different from any of the other ones I've done when he was alive?
Yeah,
I mean,
and
it always, look, I'm not trying to be a snarky asshole. I'm just, it just always sort of ends up being me. Whereas, David and Bobby and Woody and Graham, like they come in and they put their stuff on and but at the end of the day, it's me that's sitting there comping all the shit together and doing, the editing and the mixing and the arranging and all these, things. David was very instrumental. Where I really miss him was his sensibility with graphic design, because him and I used to collaborate on the graphic design. Well, this time it was me alone, and I actually remember doing it, sitting at my house going, God, I wish David were here to bounce some of these fucking ideas off of, because him and I had a very specific vision for the visuals of the band. And I'm very happy with the way the visuals came out this time. I feel like I did it justice. So I was, put it to bed. And like I said, not to be discourteous to David or Bobby or anybody else. It just ends up being, everybody puts their stuff on and then they go away. And
Trust me. David and I used to always talk about the fact that if you weren't in the Morning Life wouldn't exist if you weren't in it. Like it would just be this. If you took you out of the equation, you would never have a record. You would never have anything.
Well, I appreciate you saying that it sounded that you liked what you heard.
It really did, and I will tell you this: he always used to say that he really enjoyed writing and working with you. He always did. I never got to be around and see it, but he did always say, because I would ask him, I'm like, man, what's it like? You don't get to play enough gigs because the other guys in the band are just monsters as far as touring and playing, and he's like, well, we don't get to play as much as I want, but he really enjoyed the whole writing and the recording process with you. I don't know if you ever had those conversations.
Well, I mean, I think he told me, but David's a great writer, and David's a great starter, and they actually
No-
Bobby and
no doubt
David.
about it.
David and Bobby used to call me the finisher.
Yep.
Because they would always start with these great ideas, but I was really good at taking them, and I have really good now. The rest of my life, I don't even know where I am this weekend, but so the rest of my life I'm pretty not like this, but I have very, very good electronic organizational skills. I have everything, every idea that was ever written, it's all itemized and filed and stored away on hard drives, and I know exactly where everything is. And if I died, people would be able to find it because it's labeled well.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
everything is very in line.
Do you think I shit on the morning life?
Yes,
You're wrong. Why do you think that?
because you talk shit about it on your previous episodes.
What have you? What's and you listen to it?
I listened to some of it
What do you
after
What part of it? You can't say the music because I love the music.
No, I feel like you were very
Negative about the Kickstarter.
well. There's that. Yeah, I mean there's that.
Do
And
you
then
see my side on that at all?
no, I feel like it's none of your business. To be honest with you,
Well, it becomes my business when you post it on Facebook.
then don't donate to it. But if you had a Kickstarter, I'd be the first one to donate to it. And I just donated to a Kickstarter of a guy named Chris Watts whose album I did, who is trying to do a new album and he can't afford it, and I donated $100 to it.
You don't see any of my side on how that may have affected me, like emotionally. Just like imagine I'm a woman, like you don't see my side at all on that.
I feel like if you had, let me think of how to put this.
It's okay. I never think about what I'm saying.
Well, that's the problem. Is that I feel like you're somebody who speaks faster than you think.
And that's why that's why I'm good on a microphone. That's why I'm good on my show.
I mean, I hold my own too,
No, you
but
do.
I'm just saying that
Here's what. And do you know the one thing that bothered me about it?
was that David's name was in the thing. Well, you can thank Bobby for that.
The first gut feeling that I got was, and I can tell you this, I think about it way differently right now than I did when I did that podcast.
Well, let me say this: you can thank Bobby for that, but I will stand behind him because we agreed as a group to do it. Me and Woody were very, we were a little more hesitant than Bobby was. Because I am in no way attempting to throw him under the bus. Because we all agreed. We had to talk about it, and we all agreed that this is the way we were going to go about it.
Yeah.
And Bobby's very good at explaining himself, and he made a lot of sense. So we decided. We said, you know what? You're a smart dude. We're gonna go with this. And I stand behind the decision, and I stand behind Bobby's decision. And the thing is that, I am somebody who has donated, quote unquote. I don't want to say donated because I'm in the band. I have given so many hundreds of thousands of hours and tens of thousands of dollars worth of studio time to this project for people, to basically give away. We basically give it away.
No, I know.
You know, and so at some point, we had this opportunity. And, the Kickstarter thing didn't happen. It didn't go through, so I had to pass on the opportunity. We went with another mastering house, and I paid for it, and I paid for it to get, I paid for it to get the duplication and the mastering all done. It's all paid for and done by me. If anybody else wants to reimburse me out of the band, then that's their decision. But I wasn't going to wait for that to happen. I said, no, I need to finish what I started.
Yeah.
And I put my money where my mouth was.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know this or not, but Kickstarter is an all or nothing deal.
No, I know.
So,
I know
okay.
how it is. And it's funny because it's the
But I will tell you this right now. If DP needs money for duplication, I will donate to it.
Yeah, and I wouldn't.
I also need to say this too. The Kickstarter idea was David's idea.
Look, and I agree with you. The only part that I don't agree with is that you don't see where maybe I'm the only person on the planet that thought this, and I just happen to have a microphone in front of me, You know, and it was. Look, I had Dickie, I had Bobby, I had everybody on this show afterwards. And you want to know what? After I fucking talked to them, I was like, you know what? I think I'm wrong on this. And I've said it on the show. Like, I think I'm wrong on that. Like, it gave me an initial negative response, but
And it could be borderline irresponsible to have such a knee-jerk reaction with access to such a public forum.
Yeah, but
You
that's,
know,
I don't know, man. That's why people listen to me.
You know, you don't need that. You don't need you don't need to base your podcast in negativity. You know,
It's not negativity. It's honesty.
Well, the honest answer is that I would hope, and I guess I was wrong. I would hope that you would know all of us enough to know that we would never use David Philistree's death as a money grab.
Yeah,
it seems outright preposterous and almost offensive to our character.
Yeah, look, trust me. I'm not going to call it a knee-jerk reaction because the reaction lasted for quite a long time. You know, it was. Look, I don't know if how
when
much
I say
of this
knee jerk is in
listened to.
why you know me enough to where you should have called me, instead of calling me out.
I didn't
That's
call
the
you
difference.
out. I didn't call you out.
If you call the band out, you're calling me out.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
tagged me, for
Yeah.
Christ's sakes.
Yeah. Wait, what do you mean?
Like when you do your average.
Oh yeah. For the show, well, I just
Right.
like to let everybody know that if I mentioned him in the show, I'll
Yeah, you
hey,
mentioned-
listen to it. I shit on
Right,
your Kickstarter.
right. You mentioned me, all right.
Yeah.
It's,
Well, you know what? If that, I will tell you this. If I'm fucking like, this is awesome. I apologize if it really hurt your feelings or
it
you
did.
you
It
thought
very much hurt my feelings because I cannot tell you, and I don't care what anybody thinks of me. I cannot tell you how many times mixing this record I started tearing up listening to these songs.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. That's why I was asking you, what is it like trying to finish a record?
Oh, well, it's difficult.
Yeah.
Of course, it's difficult. I mean, it's difficult not because it's difficult to finish an album. It's just difficult because I miss David.
Yeah.
And but it doesn't make the process is the same. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. The process
Yeah.
that I went through to do it, it got the same attention. The Morning Life's record gets the same attention that Steve Vai's record gets.
Yeah.
And the Molly Ringwald's record gets the same attention that Blues Traveler's record gets. I don't differentiate between the two.
But as far as the morning, like, I think you know that. I don't know if you've had anybody else who's been to as many or all of your shows. You know.
You mean all 6 of them?
Well, look, look, and y'all play at some weird ass times, and I'm always there.
Well,
So,
I appreciate it.
and know that I like the band, and not only do I like the band, I love it because I know how much David loved it, and y'all played recently, and y'all opened up for this band Saxon. Right at Southport.
Weird
and man,
gig, but it was so much fun. That was a
weird.
great
So Saxon is this fucking old. They got to be in their 60s. They're this old school metal band, right? And the Morning Life is going to open. So initially, I'm like, and I'm sure the guys in the band are like, man, we're not going to fit with this.
Well, we basically said let's do the rock set. Is what we said because we do have songs that we only needed to fill 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So we have enough rock songs. But what's really funny is that there was a changing of the guard on that show where people were doing the sort of arms folded step back from the stage thing.
Yep.
And it was actually a slow song. I think it was a slow song, Blue Highway, that I resurrected, which is actually, it's a song I wrote back when I was in the Newberry Makers. But we resurrected that song and we played that song, which is like this really sort of ethereal kind of thing. And that's the song that pulled everybody to the front of the stage.
You won 'em over.
And we had them for the rest of the night.
You won them over, and I tell you what, it was a weird experience for me because it was me coming to see y'all for the first time without David, and I thought it was better. Like, I actually thought that was the best show that I had ever seen y'all play, and you fucking blew me away with your playing. And I think you remember the next day or two I posted on Facebook, like, hey, all you guitar players around here, y'all playing for second. Because I just saw...
What's so funny is that I thought I played badly that night. I really did.
Really?
But that's how... See, to me, that's how I roll. I know you have this competitive thing, but I'm not competitive. I'm just competitive with myself.
Yeah.
I have a standard a mental standard that I personally need to live up to, to make myself feel like I've given all that I can give. And I feel like, and there are a lot of playing music is, can be a fragile thing. Like there could be anything, could throw off your mojo. Some asshole in the front row, throwing an ice cube at you, or it could be the monitor feeding back, or your amp doesn't sound right, or your hands are freezing, so they're not working right, or whatever. It could be anything. And that night, I think I think we did well, and I was very happy with the crowd. But like on a personal, like quote unquote guitar player level,
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't do what I could have done.
Yeah.
Well,
look, I could tell you this from a fan's point of view, it was great.
Well, great.
I really enjoyed it.
That's great. That means that I'll next time if I actually get to the level that I think is better, it'll be that much better.
What's the future of the band now? What's the future of the Morning Life?
I don't know. As far as I know, I think that we will continue to make records. I know that the Morning Life is not. We're a band that unfortunately doesn't capitalize very much on momentum.
Yeah, you just can't.
We will get a record and it'll come out and people will like it and we'll play maybe one show and then we'll not play another show for a year. So it's not a very it's not a very smart band when it comes to capitalizing on that momentum that is caused by some sort of release or something, to celebrate. But that being said, we've never really been that band. We were always sort of just a studio band.
Yeah.
We did have some, after the first record was released, we did have some real interest. We got contacted by, I know this sounds bizarre, but we really did get contacted by a South African record label that wanted to that asked us to send them 500 units. And I said, well, why don't we send you 100 to start off with? And we did. We sent them 100 units and they really loved it. But it just never sort of happened. I guess maybe it was a way for them to get 100 free CDs. But they said that they had started playing one of the songs, I think it was 11 Plus, on the radio, and that it was actually getting some favorable, return. Like I said, we had a lot of really great reviews for that record. We had a lot of other artists, like some of the guys in G-Love and Special Sauce, and some of the guys in Cowboy Mouth or whatever. They actually wrote some very nice reviews on the record. And
no shit.
Yeah, and sent them to us, and we put them on our website.
Well, I tell you what, man. I hope y'all continue. I like it. I'm ready for the new record to come out. Any hard feelings that you had about what I said, I hope you can move past it.
Life's too short, as we both know, to hold a grudge.
Yeah, I really do apologize. And if there's one thing that any of my friends can attest to the fact that I'm not rational about, it's when it comes to talking about David. And
we both love David Cheese, and you know that.
I'm trying to pump the brakes on that. But let's see. Let's move on to kind of what you're doing now and how you got there. So you're in this just juggernaut called the Molly Ringwalds. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. I've said before that if there's ever been a bigger tribute / cover band, I want to know who they are. I think y'all may be the biggest, most successful of all time.
I don't know if that's true, but
where I wanted to start was, it started with an original band called Crush UK, right? What's it like to be in an original band and then you have this idea for the Mollies? What's it like watching one take the other one over?
Well, to be completely honest with you, I just want to be completely fair here. I originally wanted to be in Crush UK. They had a record called Romantic Depressive that, actually I loved them even before that when they were a band called Pencils and Crayons back in the early days. And I had their cassette tape that a friend of mine brought over, and I basically stole the cassette tape from him and used to listen to it over and over and over. I actually knew how to play all the songs on it. And then the band changes its name to Crush UK. And they released this record, Romantic Depressive, and I was like, nothing's ever going to top that Pencils and Crayons record. I love that record. Then I put that on, and that record was fantastic. Yeah. And so I started seeking this band out. I didn't know anybody in the band. I knew absolutely nobody. It was 4 completely foreign people, and they did not intersect with anybody in my circle.
Yeah.
I want to say that I got in. That's not true. Hold on, I got to go back. They intersected with a single person in my circle. I think that I might have gotten an email address from that single person. I don't remember. I don't remember how I contacted them, but I contacted them because originally the Crush UK didn't have a bass player, and I wanted the
Really?
gig. Yeah, they used to. The bass was played on the keyboard.
Oh, okay.
And I originally contacted them because I love the band so much that I didn't want to break them up. I just wanted to be in the band. So I said, I want to know if I can join your band as the bass player. I said, I'm a good guitar player, but I'd love to play bass for your band. I think it's fantastic and whatever. So then I went and I started like sort of, I guess, stalking the band. I like went to all their shows and would sit in the front row and just basically just wouldn't let up. So finally the band's like, look, we're not interested in having a bass player. We like the way it is or whatever, and that's cool. And I was like, all right, cool. And I guess I went away and fast forward a certain amount of months or whatever. And what happened was that Crush UK had put the Mollies together to finance that band.
Yeah.
I know I'm trying not to be too long-winded about this.
You're good.
But what ended up happening was the guitar player for Crush UK only wanted to really, after, I don't know, 6 months or maybe a year, I'm guesstimating at that timeline, after about 6 months or a year or something, he decided that he didn't really want to do the Molly thing. He still wanted to be in the original band. So I was playing a gig with Fucking Shice back here at Marks Park Avenue in Fat City, and the band went out. We were doing a jam night. The band went out, came and saw me, and brought me in the parking lot and asked if I was interested in joining or auditioning, I don't remember which, the Molly Ringwalds. And I said, what about Crush UK? He said, no, the other guy's going to stay in Crush UK, but want to do the Mollies. And I said, sure. So my first gig was at Time Out Lounge in Slidell. We played in an alley and to about 5 people. And so I did that. And then what happened was after being in the Mollies for maybe 2 years or 3 years, about 2 or 3 years, the other guitar player dropped out of Crush UK.
Yeah.
So at that point, I stepped into his place. Actually, it's not true. Brent Rhodes stepped into his place. And then after that happened, Brent dropped out after only being in the band a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And then I guess they sort of took me because it only made sense. I wanted to be in the band anyway, but it only made sense, because I was already there playing in the Mollies or whatever. But I didn't, even after the original guitar player got out, I still didn't get the gig, and I still kept pining to be in this band. Well, finally I got in the band.
Determination.
Right. Finally I got in the band, in the last tier of the band. And it was great while I was in it. We did a bunch of gigs with the Mollies, but then the main, I guess, for lack of a better word, I'll call him the main songwriter, main lead singer. I mean, Jeff and Benny both lead sang, but Benny was sort of more the central cog in Crush UK. And when that happened, it just
all of a sudden
it just there was no more Crush
when
UK.
Fast forward to today, I'm sure that when you started this thing, you never would have thought like it's going to be on the level that it is now. How are your feelings about that? Because how about this? If you right now could keep doing what you do as far as production and playing original music and take the salary that comes along with the Mollies and do that, would you go full-time doing original music and production?
Let's see, you're saying if I had the salary that went along with
the
Mollies doing
just
producing an original band stuff. Well, I mean, to be honest with you, the production stuff, the salary, it's not quite what the Mollies is, but it's not a bad salary.
Yeah.
There's that. I am not prepared to leave the Mollies under those circumstances. No.
Yeah.
If I won the lottery, I would still be
in the fucking
Mollies
because you're in the Mollies.
Right. And the reason being is for a few reasons. I love the guys.
Yeah.
I love every person in that band like they were my own blood. I have a very, very small family.
It's a tight group.
Right. I have a very small family, and those people are my family. So I have a sister, and I have my cousin Tracy and my aunt, and that's pretty much it. As far as like blood relatives.
Mm-hmm.
So the band is the closest thing I have to a family.
Do you think that do you think the Mollies have deterred the other side of you, or strengthened it? Has like being in the Mollies and what they are and how successful they are, has it helped what you do as far as the production side, or is it
let me
hindered it?
Okay, well let me finish this, and then I'll answer, because that's a two-part answer.
Yeah.
That second question. As far as also, I wanted to say this, that I was with the Mollies not from the very beginning, but damn near the beginning.
Yeah.
And next to Jeff, I'm have the most tenure in that band.
Your hair's looking way better than his too. We talked about that on the show, how he used to bring hair products to everybody when he was working there.
I wish he still worked for them. But
Free shampoo.
But I mean, I consider myself not a founding member, but I do consider myself one of the, if it makes any sense, one of the original members, even though I'm not really. But one thing I did definitely do was with Jeff, helped build that band through the really dark years.
Yeah.
The years of playing frat parties and playing shithole clubs to 5 people who want to beat us up because we're dressed in makeup.
Sucks.
It really,
trust me, I'm there right now.
I mean, it really...
Nobody wants to beat me up yet, but I'm waiting for it.
Everybody thinks that it was like we just started this thing and it...
All of a sudden, you're playing House of Blues.
Right. We were selling out House of Blues, like before Dickie and Phil even joined the band.
Yeah.
So I mean, Darren came in and really took it to a new level.
Yeah.
But me and Jeff are the ones that are left in the band that really laid the groundwork, along with Nikki from Category 6 and with Benny, from Crush UK. So I really feel like if you build something, let's say you are Sam Walton and you start Walmart.
Yeah.
Well, you don't
That'd be sweet.
Right. You don't just shut your business down because you don't feel like doing it anymore. You built this.
You stick with it.
This empire, or whatever you want to call it. I don't call it an empire, but you built this building that now you're so proud of, and now you have to sit there and maintain and add on to and make it better. And I don't see retirement in my future. There's no reason for it. I mean,
so does it help or does it hurt?
Does it help or hurt the production? So this is a two-part answer. It has helped the production because I said this in a previous podcast this week. There's nothing that motivates people like the need for something. The need for clean air and less fossil fuels has caused us to invent better electric cars.
Yeah.
The need for my band, the Molly Ringwalds at the time, to need a great sounding demo or a great sounding whatever it may be of EPK, or if you want something done, you got to do it yourself. So I basically sat down and learned how to do these things to record my originals, and to the Mollies need this, and I learned how to do it, and because I just took the reins. It's just the kind of person I am.
Each one of them kind of helped build the other one.
Correct.
Basically.
But there are a lot of things that have happened that, the Mollies come first in my life. Because that's just the way that my life is structured business-wise. So, and luckily, I'm good enough at what I do that my clients will move their schedule to work with me. Now,
musicians are sweet; they don't work 9 to 5.
But there are some situations that I actually lost out on some really big gigs, really big credits.
Really,
because Mollies are playing and they want to track from Thursday to Monday. And I can't do that. I said, I got these gigs. I got to be in Shreveport. And I go, well, this ain't going to work then. So, I've missed out on, I was supposed to engineer on Motley Crue's The Saints of Los Angeles.
No shit.
I was supposed to engineer on
Crew Town. That would have been fun.
Oh, it was great, man. I had to give it to my one of my engineers that I helped train. Like a guy who was like my protege, Theory of a Dead Man was another one that was around the same session or whatever. There was another Mute Math. I was supposed to do work with them, and that just never happened because of that. So there's a lot of times where I have to leave, and I gotta even the Mars Volta. That was another thing that I sort of missed out on.
Huh. Well, look, I could totally see your point in keeping the Mollies first, because that's That dude,
Yeah,
it's so
and-
hot, and it's I've asked Dickie and
it's
some
going
other.
it's going up. It's not
Yeah.
going down. Like we just I don't know how
Like, do
hip you
you-
are to this, but we just booked we probably booked 12 cities recently that that we've never played, and I'm talking about like big. I don't know how much I'm supposed to say.
Man, y'all played on top of the damn Peabody Hotel this weekend, where the Ducks go, man.
I don't
like how
yeah,
crazy
I mean,
is that?
That's our third or fourth
That's
time doing it.
fucking awesome, dude.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how much I'm supposed to say about.
If you
thi-
need
about
a
this, but-
half-ass shitty rapper to fucking come over and make $100, I'm in.
But we just booked Anaheim and New York and Sacramento and just
look, man,
Detroit and
I honestly couldn't be happier for y'all. I think y'all even I had the donuts in here last weekend, and even they said y'all have taken this thing to a level that nobody could have ever, like, just a stage show and everything like that. And
I have
and
nothing
it's
but
great.
respect for those guys. I mean, they completely reinvented themselves in
They're the best.
they're-
I see them as the best. I really do.
they're great.
I love watching them. I tell anybody who's never heard of them, never seen them, you want to go see, I don't care, original, whatever, you want to see the best band around right now, go check these dudes out.
They're great. Because they're playing with a lot of fire.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. The Mollies try to keep it to where we're playing with still some fire under the seats, and I think we do a really good job of that.
No doubt
because,
about it.
like I said about competition, we try to compete with ourselves. Did we give everything we could give? And we try to every single time. It doesn't always happen, but we try to every single time.
Yeah. Well, I think George gave me the high sign. We're about an hour right now. It feels like about 7 minutes, which I think is a good thing. I really want to thank you for coming in, and I know you and I have had our issues in the past, and I kind of, this has become like my psychiatrist session. I was going to a guy once a week who's amazing, but he's $300 an hour, so I had to cut back. So I started doing this. You got anything? What's as far as Jack Miele? What's on the immediate? What's new for you on the horizon that we can talk about?
Production wise,
Yeah, just
right now I'm finishing up Tony Cardenas's record. He's the guitar player for Great White, and he's like one of the original dudes. But I'm finishing his record. He's coming back into town. He's an LA guy. Between LA and Dallas, but he's coming back in early May. We're going to finish his record. I'm also working with I work with a local artist named PH Fred, doing a lot of songs with him. He's great, writes a lot of really great songs. I'm doing I just finished a Morning Life record, thank God. And
you just got married, right?
I did just get married.
How's that? You liking that?
I love that.
You gonna have some kids?
Maybe.
You don't think about that? Like
I do think about it, but the thing is that I don't. We're sort of we just got married in November, and if it happens, then great, and I would embrace it and love it. But we're not like, and I think
actively trying, or
right?
whatever.
We're not trying.
Yeah,
that's which I guess is the.
I always knew from the beginning, I'm not having kids. I'm not doing it. So I like to get other people.
I said that for a lot of years.
I just got divorced. So you and I are going in opposite
I've been
directions.
there too.
That's right. That's right. I didn't know that.
Too.
That's right. I forgot about
married
that.
for 7 years with the same girl for 11.
Yeah.
So believe me, it's not an easy road.
Believe me, I'm on it, and I'm looking to jump out the window soon.
Oh yeah, I mean, like
I live on the 3rd floor.
Just since just since I got divorced, I mean, I've got divorced, lost Squirrel, David, my grandmother, and I mean, it's just like
Let's just end it, dude.
Yeah, there's just so
Let's
much.
just fucking end
I
it,
just
bro.
can't. I can't. I don't even like to think about it.
I know, right? It sucks.
Yeah,
and then you stick a microphone in somebody's face and they say something stupid. But that's all right. I'm going to move past that. But I want to thank you for coming in, man. I really do feel like I could talk to you for another hour. Sometimes you just have a thing.
Well, we'll do it again.
And until then, this is Whine and Cheese, and we'll talk to you next time. All right.
I just don't know what to do. I'm too afraid to love you.
Kick down the front door with my boys, the type of dudes you intend to avoid. We get together, we start shit, we like noise, we make noise, we make noise. Turn it up loud enough to hear my voice. Let the crowd and the whole world join. We make noise, we make noise, we make noise, we make noise. I get the silliest feeling, and when I'm gone on this Ritalin, take your face and disfigure it. Man, they thought I was kidding them, getting them out of their seats. packing S&B, already faded complete. Knock the dirt off my cleats. Now he's always got the pen out and laid up in the penthouse. Turn it loud, drain the ink and let all of the blood out.
What to do? I'm too afraid to love you.
We reinvented the wheel, it's made of middle fingers and steel. And Marilyn Manson cut us a rib and a deal. Served his dick on a plate, man, we couldn't wait to hear the hate. As loud as this motherfucker was bringing it, you'd think the lasers was coming from hazings of aliens. Changing colors, karma, chameleon. Fuck music, he made noise, he destroyed. He turned us from little boys to lunatics with no points who like to annoy, enjoy.
I just don't know what to do. I'm too afraid to love you.
Kick down the front door with my boys, the type of dude you intend to avoid. We get together, we start shit, we like noise, we make noise, we make noise. Turn it up loud enough to hear my voice. Let the crowd and the whole world join. We make noise, we make noise, we make noise, we make noise.
On stage, off stage, backstage, no shades, not afraid, uncaged, all rage, front page, headlines on a dime to reach around the sublime. Anytime, overtime, low, blow, wrote some lines, refine for me to co-sign. Stains like iodine, witty like Einstein.
What to do? I'm too afraid to love you.
Invisible, transient, a fist full of Ambien. Can we win? Good night, I'm right. It's so pedestrian, water soluble and diabolical. Maniacal, I'm all around reliable and automatic, emphatic, addict, full of static. No commercial rehearsal, I flip it forward, reversal. Dance, kneel, jump around, slide